Hey friends, welcome into the TexAgs Rewind presented by Specs. Summertime is heating up. Specs is keeping it cool, so sip, snack, and save big during the battle of the heat. Now on at Specs. Cheers to savings. All right, so we're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Everybody knows that, right? And today's show to me was more, I don't know, temperamental is the way to phrase it. But like, people take slight optimism as like not presenting both sides of the equation. Nigrin, agree or disagree?
Yeah. Agree.
Next. Thanks for going in depth. That was good. No, I'm glad. I'm glad you told.
Disagree answer. So I said I agree.
Yeah. All right, Nick, help us out. What's your favorite part of the show?
Billy Liucci.
Why?
Yeah, because he was the best part.
But what about him in particular?
I liked his take on Albert Regis, who's player number 10 in our 25 players in 25 days countdown.
Brought to you by La Casa
And it's not
Tequila.
anything to do with him, standing over my shoulder.
Yeah. I see Brody there too. We didn't have to see that. Nigrin, your favorite part?
Olin Buchanan in the Go Hour.
Why?
He's always good.
No, see, you guys fall in this rut of just saying he's always good. Like, I need something specific.
I liked y'all's conversation, even though it was brief, about coaches that need to have a playoff-like season. I like that conversation.
Agree. And because the guy who asked the question was phenomenal. And Kylee Hansen, Missouri insider, we got to know a little bit more about the quarterback situation there. There actually is a quarterback battle. Check it out. It's the Rewind. He says, believe it or not.
Okay.
This is shocking to me.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm like, as happy as a guy as this homeboy is, this is the least excited I have ever been for a season to start. I'm not going to lie. Okay. Thank you for not lying. I appreciate that, by the way. The way we fell apart at the end of the season by coaching and players just really ticked me off. He used a different word.
Okay.
Well, that's surprising coming from Dave. I am very excited about the season. Why wouldn't I be excited about a team that returns a bunch of veterans, a team that has a quarterback who played very well at the end of last season? I know the Texas game. I get it. Okay? I know.
Because it wasn't just the Texas game. It was the Auburn game and the South Carolina game and the USC game. So I understand.
No.
Here it is.
I'm saying Marcel didn't play well in the Texas game, but I think he played well in the other games.
The reason he feels this way, and I understand, it's the old fable about crying wolf. A&M has cried wolf so many times that now they're to the point where people are. I'm ignoring the call. However, this might be the year the wolf shows up.
Here's what I say to that. That's bull crap, okay?
Or wolf.
It's bull crap. That is a defense mechanism just to make... See, I told you. How about enjoy things in life?
I think it's
going to rain eventually. Okay, it's sunny right now. Let's go. Let's go play ball.
Sometimes rain's good.
It depends on your grass situation, right? Yeah, that's true.
Look, it's okay. I understand. I really do understand the beaten down, trodden Aggie fandom, but it's okay to say, but this is the year.
He can't join us when we win it all. He cannot go to the parade.
Wrong.
I've spoken.
You can.
Break down the quarterback situation for me, because I've read that it's still an ongoing quarterback battle, but everybody thinks it's Bo Pribula's job. Is it, and how has he looked?
As much as you want to say, when you pay $1.5 million for someone to come from Penn State and come to your school and be this quarterback, him and Sam Horn, who was also just drafted into the MLB, so there's a lot of questions there with which one is he really more focused on. You want to say it's Bo Pribula, but honestly, in fall camp, they are splitting reps. They've both essentially looked pretty much the exact same, have the same struggles and stuff like that. And one of the biggest questions with Bo is, can he pass? Like, him and Kevin Coleman have connected a few times in fall camp, but people are worried just about him and how he's really going to get out there on the field. I think we play Central Arkansas first, so that will kind of be our test. And then our biggest rival second is Kansas. So that's going to be the game where people are really going to need to see consistency, which is what they're looking for in fall camp. But right now, I really think it's a true competition. As much as you want to say it's Bo Pribula, I genuinely think that Coach Drinkwitz does not know who his quarterback will be. I was talking to John Anderson, who is an ESPN anchor. He works at Mizzou now, but he said he talked to Drinkwitz and said that he really, truly also does not know who his quarterback is going to be.
Talking to Kylee Hansen.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
it is going to be a true question.
Let's talk about the wide receiver group, because when you lose guys, which, by the way, I think Will Lee had a pretty nice performance against Theo Weiss, but when you lose guys like Luther Burden and Theo Weiss, who are awesome players, how does Kevin Coleman kind of just fix that whole situation for them?
Right. Well, when Theo Weiss comes out at Kyle Field with a towel that has A&M on it, or I don't remember that exact thing, but when you come out and then you perform how you did, I don't think that's a very good look. I think Kevin Coleman, coming from Mississippi State, he's gonna work for the Tigers. We also have Marquise Johnson and Josh Manning, who have been with this team for a while. They're essentially veterans now. They're still pretty young. So when Theo Weiss and Luther Burden were out during the Music City Bowl, Marquise and Josh Manning came in and had to help out and had bigger numbers and performed well. But Marquise Johnson is fast. I think that Kevin Coleman Jr., being a transfer in the SEC, he will help for this team. I don't think you can never be Luther Burden and you can never be Theo Weiss. Those two just connected so well with the quarterback.
I do think Marcel Reed, by his style of play, is a better game player than practice player, too. So you have to factor that in. Secondary, by all accounts, is already better, should be noticeably better. I think linebacker play will be better. It's just second year in the system for Scooby.
Deeper, too.
Torian, and then the depth. So check that one. The only position that I would sit here today and say is going to be better is the defensive line. And I do think the pass rush will be better. But D-line, when you lose Scorton, Stewart, and Turner, I'm sorry, it's going to be really hard for that group to be better. And I know they cooled off as the year went on, but they were not a bad defensive line even then. So I think they're going to be better to some degree. I'm confident, very confident that team's better at every position on the field except D-line. And and TBD on the D-line, you just see a guy like Cassius Howell with that sack, and Rylan Kennedy and Regis is back, and Hicks has played a lot of ball, and you went portal heavy when you bring 4 guys in via the portal and Marco Jones. So, but I just think, let's be real, that you're 3 first and second rounders. Okay, so if that was any other team, we would be saying they're going to take a step back on the D-line. So let's stick to that. I think A&M's one of those teams that's going to be better. There's no doubt in my mind. The question is how much better in versus these other teams. But when you look at the quarterback, so people are, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Marcel. And I'm going, again, I've talked about Marcel against USC, Marcel against Auburn, like down the stretch last year. Texas ate him and this whole A&M offense up. It wasn't just him. They couldn't do anything. But you look at those games around it. You look at some of the other games earlier in the year from him, LSU, Florida, Arkansas. Okay. South Carolina, the only rough, and that was a rough second half, and then that Texas game.
It was one line.
Really?
Mr. Consistency.
That's
Guy you can depend on. That's basically what Mr. Consistency
I love
stands
Albert
for.
Regis's high school. I've thought this was a prospect I wanted to see A&M sign. The moment I saw his high school highlight tape at LaPorte, he was a later blooming recruit. That was a big head-to-head win. It wasn't really considered that big because of his ranking. He wasn't some 5-star, and this was a time period where A&M was signing a lot of 5-stars, but it was an important head-to-head battle with the Texas Longhorns for Albert Regis, and the Aggies won it. And this guy, I'm watching him as a tight end, H-back, catch fade passes down the field 40 yards, go up in the end zone and make these catches. It probably, I would be willing to bet he was probably 250 plus at the time, 250. Now he's 300 plus. Looks like a refrigerator out there in pads. You get those big square boxy pads on him and that helmet. He's not short, okay, but he's not you wouldn't call him a tall, rangy guy.
Right.
He's probably in that, I would assume, real life, that 6'1" range, which is plenty optimal for a college interior D lineman. But it's the power. It's for a 300-pounder, the energy and effort that he plays with. A lot of times you don't get that down to down from guys that you get from Albert Regis. And he's a wildly popular guy within the team. I think he's a captain type guy. I don't think he wears the C, but he's a captain
That personality, yeah.
type guy in that locker room. He's a leader. He's a great story off the field. Character guy. You know, he's what you want in the uniform, but he also can play. You know, it's like sometimes you talk enough about some of these athletes off the field and people think you're like drifting away and spotlighting that because it exceeds what kind of player they are. That's not true. He's an NFL draft pick.
All right. Don't ask them to like, comment, subscribe. Think of something other than that that kind of alludes to that, but without asking them to do that.
You guys should go check out the TexAgs Rewind, and you should probably be in favor of how good it is.
I stumped you.
Yeah, you did. This is kind of tough. And you should always, every weekday, check the TexAgs YouTube channel to find the rewind, and you should probably check it out.
I don't know if he did us a disservice or a service there. Thanks so much for watching.